Today we're going to learn more about would like, especially how to use it with contractions, questions, and short answers. This will help you speak in a more natural and polite way, especially in situations like shopping or everyday conversations. First, let's remember that in English we often use contractions when we speak. This means we make words shorter. With would, we change it to D. For example, I would like, I'd like, you would like, you'd like, he would like, he'd like, we would like, we'd like, they would like, they'd like. These forms are very common. Let's look at some examples. I'd like to eat, you'd like to drink, he'd like to buy a new jacket, she'd like to try on some shoes, we'd like to go to the department store, they'd like to stay here. These sentences sound more natural than the full form. Now let's look at the negative form. We use would not like, but we usually say wouldn't like. For example, I would not like, I wouldn't like, she wouldn't like that dress, we wouldn't like to pay now, they wouldn't like to buy expensive clothes. Again, contractions are more common in spoken English. Here are some examples. I wouldn't like that bag. He wouldn't like those shoes. She wouldn't like to go shopping today. We wouldn't like to buy something expensive. They wouldn't like to wait. These sentences show negative meaning in a polite way. Now let's look at questions. To make a question, we change the order and start with would. The structure is would plus subjects like. For example, would you like a coffee? Would she like a dress? Would they like to go shopping? Would we like to see the shoes? This is very useful when offering something. We can also give short answers. For positive answers, we say, yes, I would, yes, she would, yes, they would. For negative answers, we say, no, I wouldn't, no, he wouldn't, no, we wouldn't. For example, would you like a bag? Yes, I would, no, I wouldn't. Or, would they like to go? Yes, they would, no, they wouldn't. Let's see some examples in a shopping situation. Assistant, would you like to try on this jacket? Customer, yes, I would. Assistant, would you like a different size? Customer, no, I wouldn't. I like this one. Assistant, would you like to buy it? Customer, yes, I would. It's not very expensive. This is a very common conversation. We can also use it like this. I'd like a bag, please. She'd like a box for the shoes. We'd like to go to the men's department. They'd like to buy something cheap. He wouldn't like an expensive watch. These examples help you speak in shops and stores. Remember, would like is more polite than want. So, instead of saying, I want a bag, we say, I'd like a bag. This sounds more friendly and polite. To summarize, we use add like as the contraction of would like in positive sentences and wouldn't like in negative sentences. We make questions with would plus subject plus like, and we answer with yes, I would, no, I wouldn't. Learning these forms will help you speak more naturally and politely, especially when shopping or making requests.